I'm a CI Systems Applications Manager, and today we're going to be reviewing the ControlMaster, which is the controller for our suite of black bodies that we use in CI. The ControlMaster controls the SR800 black bodies, which is the extended area black bodies, the SR200 black bodies, which are cavity black bodies, the SR300, which are the integrating sphere or visible integrating spheres, and also the SR800 HT, which are the high temperature black bodies. We also have controller capabilities of different motors in the system, such as target wheels, source stages, filter wheels. The SR800 also controls different motors or different axes of the system, such as the sources stage, such as the target wheel. It also controls other components of the system, such as backlights. It also has an I/O interface, which may turn on and turn off different components of the system. The SR800 can control up to 4 different motorized stages or axes. This includes maybe the target wheel or a rad wheel, which you can see here in the collimator, the motorized sources stages, a focus stage, a filter wheel, and it also controls a backlight, which we can set the intensity and turn it on and off. It also has another interface called I/O, which may or may not be used to turn on and off different relays and power supplies. Black body controller, the ControlMaster, has many different options. Some of them include multiple black body controls, so we can control 2 black bodies, or we have another combination where we can control a black body and an integrating sphere. So this is a very versatile controller. The black body controller also has an interface to a computer, a host computer, which I'll demonstrate later on. Through different types of communication protocols, we can either connect it through Ethernet or LAN, RS-232, and optionally for older systems, GPIB. Then we have a dedicated application that we can run on the PC to control and see the different parameters of the black body on the PC. Now I'm going to demonstrate powering up the black body controller, and we'll see how it interacts with the different components of this METS collimator. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate now the operation of the black body controller, but first I want to just point out that in the back there's the connections, the power connections, the cable connection of to the head and to the different, if there are any kind of sources or motorized sources, all the cables are in the back of here, and also the LAN and communication are connected here in the back. And then here in this case here we can see that the cables are going out and being connected into this collimator. So once all the cables are connected, I'm powering on the system, and we need to wait a few seconds for the controller to complete its power on sequence. As you can see, that it's doing, it's checking the different source stage, the target wheel, and all other different components of the system. The window is powering up. The interface screen is going to display the initial power-up sequence. Once the power-up is completed, we find the main window of the black body displaying different parameters of the system. In this case, we can see the main window, we can see that it's showing or displaying the current temperature of the black body. And the bottom section, we can see the different sources or axes that are being controlled here. In one case, this is the source stage, and where we can select a different source. We have 2 sources here, so we can select the black body or the backlight, and we can see that it moves. And on this little panel here, we can click and select the different targets that we have in the system. And in this case, we have almost a large amount. The header is kind of small, but each one is displaying either a 4-bar, crosshair, target wheel, a step target, and any other kind of targets that the customer desires. You just click on it, and it moves the target wheel. In other cases where we have a more complicated system, there are other panels where we can control the focus stage, filter wheel, etc., etc. And of course, if we need, we can control the dual head combination of the system. Okay, every system that we supply comes with a quick reference guide so that you can just power up and run the system. For those that want to do a little bit extra reading, we also supply a user manual on a USB stick, and you can download that and open up and find the relevant paragraphs or sections to operate the Blackbody. What I'm going to do now is just review the main panel, main window, and the different options that we can use or run on the Blackbody. So as I said before, this is the main window. You see on the front display the Blackbody temperature, whether it's differential or absolute, etc., etc. We can change these different components. On the bottom, we can control the different axes on the system, such as the target wheel or the rad wheel or the source stage, filter wheel, dimmer, etc., etc. You'd be able to control that from here. Here we have the main menu system that we can run, and if I click on the menu bar, it shows you the different options that it can do. There are a lot of different changes that we can, subtle changes that we can do to the Blackbody. We can change the Blackbody configuration, change it from differential to absolute, work in Kelvin or Celsius, etc. We can go back to the home, click again the menu, go to the communication setting. Communication settings allows us to configure the interface or the communication protocols, and in this case, whether we're going to be using DHCP or using a static IP address for LAN, RS-232, and of course if we had GPIB, we would be setting up the GPIB panel. If we go back, we can go to what we call the advanced configuration. Here we can change the resolution of the system, the settling time, and if we want, we can turn on and off the buzzer. We can go back and click on the general configuration panel, and we can, for the session that we're running, we can turn the head off or on, or if we want to turn off the stages or the axis, different axes, we can turn this on and off, or we can even restore factory settings. Sometimes you've made so many changes, you want to go back to the factory settings. There's another option that we call different themes. We can change the polarity of the screen for those projects or configurations where you need to have a dark window that doesn't cause any kind of reflection. So you click on the dark or checkbox. We can turn it on or light. The default is light. We can set the dark. Click the save button, and then it powers down the system and powers it up in a different configuration. In the case where we want to upgrade the sensors in the system or the calibrated sensors periodically, it's recommended once every year to update these sensors. We provide a USB stick where we need to insert into this port here. And what you would do is you would select the menu panel, go to upgrade software sensor, and it prompts you what to do. You insert the sensor stick inside here, and then click on the read panel, and it does the update automatically. There are other ways to do it through the software, and I'll demonstrate that too. I just want to review a little bit how to operate the ControlMaster. Let's say we want to change the temperature. So we tap on the screen. Let's say it was 5.5. Let's go to 5.6 degrees. Click the set button, and now you can see the temperature is, here's the set point, and the temperature is going up to this set point and it should settle within a few short while. Here we can also set the target wheel. Let's say we want to select the target wheel. We just click on the target that we want, and we can see that the target wheel is rotating. If we want to change the source, we just tap on the source button, and we can select between the Blackbody and the backlight and whatever source that we have in the system. In this case, if we go to the Blackbody, we can see that the source stage is moving and rotating. Now you just heard the Blackbody stabilizing. Once it reaches its set temperature, the buzzer goes on, and it gives you an indication that you've reached a stable point. Okay, I just want to show how we control the temperature on the Blackbody in different modes of the Blackbody. So this is the Blackbody head. If we want to change from the differential temperature to an absolute temperature, which would be the emitter temperature of the black body, we can go and click on the setting. And first of all, let's change the temperature to, let's say, 6 degrees. We go to the menu here and click on the black body configuration, change it to absolute, save this button. And before it was 6 degrees differential, now what you'll see is 30 degrees because it's added the temperature of the room temperature or the target temperature, which was about 24 degrees plus the 6 degrees that we set, it would be like 30 degrees. So this is showing the temperature, the absolute temperature of the black body. Where the temperature sensors are on the black body, in this case, this is not a standalone black body, it's already integrated into a system, but the same principle if you would have a standalone black body. There are two sensors that we have on the system for a differential black body. For an absolute only black body, there will only be one sensor. So there's one sensor that's called an emitter sensor. This emitter sensor is inside the head of the black body. I'll demonstrate how we remove and replace the sensor here, but it's located in the front area of the black body. In a system that we have, like a collimator system, we have also a target sensor which is placed here and is mounted on the target wheel. So if you want to get the differential temperature would be the difference between the emitter temperature and the target temperature on the target plate. And both of these sensors can be removed and recalibrated on a periodic schedule, dependent on your requirements, or our suggested requirement would be a yearly calibration cycle. For those instances where you need to run the black body controller remotely, we have an application that is supplied with the black body. It's called Black Body Remote Controller, and you can install it or with a supplied disk, and you double click on it, and basically it connects to the black body, and it allows you to simultaneously operate all the functions of the black body on the computer. So in this case, let's say we have a temperature of an absolute temperature in absolute mode. We can change it back to differential mode. And if we want to change temperature, again, we just go to the edit box, click on whatever temperature we want, let's say 7 degrees, click on the apply, and we can see that the temperature is changing on the display as well as on the front panel of the black body. There are other things that we can do here. We can also operate, again, if we had different stages or axes on the system, we can, again, access the different targets on the target wheel. And for this, in this instance, a 4-bar target, we can also select, again, the different source and operate that. We can also, what we can also do is update. Before we were updating the calibration files through the USB stick, we can do the same operation here on the main window here for selecting the actions and maintenance, and we have upgrade firmware or lamp calibration for an integrating sphere, or sensor replacement. If we click sensor replacement, again, it'll prompt us to load the different files that we need to access, and then you just follow the instructions here to do the upgrade. So this is a small application that we provide to our customers to allow easy use of the system. I also want to demonstrate a few other options that we have on the black body controller. We can control the backlight of the system. It's called dimmer. In this case, you can turn it on or off, and you can set the intensity value from anywhere from 0 to 100%. In this case, let's say 75. And we click the set button, and we can see it changes the backlight intensity. If we go back, we can also select different components, I/O components of the system. In this case, let's say we have power to a camera. We would just click on or tap on the checkbox, and it would turn on the relay to turn on the power to the camera, or whatever device that we're trying to control. We can turn it back off, go back to the home, and that's it. I want to demonstrate right now how do we set up a preset in the system so that you just by simple button press that you'll be able to set up a complicated setting of the system. So there are no presets in the system right now, so it says press long to add, and here we can select the temperature whether we want it to be differential, set the temperature to like 3 degrees, and let's select the target that we want to use. Let's say we want to use the crosshair target, and we want to make sure that the source is the black body. We click on the black body, and then we click on Save. So now we have a preset already selected on the system, and if we want to run it, we just click on that. We go back, and we just click on it, and it runs the system. So we can see that it's moving the source stage, it's moving the target wheel, and it's setting the temperature automatically. Now I'm going to demonstrate the power-up sequence of the Blackbody controller. We're going to power up the Blackbody controller, and while we're powering up, the Blackbody goes through its built-in test sequence, checking that all the components that are connected to the Blackbody are operational. So in this case, we can see that the source stage is moving, the target wheel has rotated to its home position and come back, so we know that it's operational, and the head is also being checked that it reaches its specified initial temperature setting. In the case where there are no motorized stages, the only thing that will power it will be the head. And now we can also see that the backlight is turning on and off, that it's operational. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate now target sensor replacements. So as I mentioned before, there are two sensors in the system. One is in the emitter or the head of the Blackbody, and the other one would be mounted on the target wheel plate, and this would be the differential temperature measurement between the emitter and the target. For a standalone Blackbody head, the target temperature would be physically, there is another plate on the target on the Blackbody. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that the power is off to the Blackbody. And what we're going to do is disconnect the head first, the cable to the head. So we release the button and take out the connector. Okay, that's the first thing that we do. Then the next thing, if this is mounted on a collimator, we need to remove the screw so that the head is a little bit loose. On the side, there's the connector for the target sensor. And once we disconnect that, we can take the head out of the system. So if I just move this a little bit, so I have room, I take out the head, and we can turn this around. And this would be the front of the Blackbody. And we can see here, this little engrave here, or groove, this is where the emitter sensor is. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to remove the sensor after we disconnected the Blackbody head. So we take a Phillips screwdriver and we open the side panel. And once we take this off, as you can see, there's a screw here. That's a Phillips screw. We can see here on the top is the sensor, the removable sensor of the Blackbody, and this is what we would need to replace when we do a new calibration. We would take the sensor out and disconnect the cable and put in the new sensor with its new ID and do the update as we mentioned before when we do the calibration update. Once we've replaced the sensor, we just reconnect it, put it back in here, and let's just close the head. And this is the first sensor that we need to update. Okay, so this is the emitter sensor that we've just replaced. On top of the emitter replacement, sensor replacement, we need to also replace the target sensor. For those sensors that are in as part of a test bench, the target sensor is located behind the target wheel. You can see this cable here, and the target sensor is mounted flat onto the target wheel so that it represents the temperature of the target wheel. So when the imager is looking at the differential temperature is the differential temperature between the Blackbody and the target wheel. Cases where we need to remove the target sensor in the back of the wheel and the access is limited, we have an extractor tool which we can take out, and you can see you can mount this and lift the sensor out of its place, and it helps you, aids you in removing the sensor.